Thinking critically became an essential ability considering the contemporary world where we face more than ever constant challenges and changes, innovations, high competitions, new technologies, economic instability, and so on. These uncertainties can be threats or opportunities to the organizations. What defines how the challenge will impact on our work environment and the consequences they will leave behind is our leadership skills along with our capability of reasoning things through. The only variable we have control over it is the condition inside our organization, which fortunately is set by us, leaders. Leadership for the past century had more than 200 different definitions and passed through an evolution. Independent of the distinctions, there are central components we can find in all the concepts, which focus on leadership as a process involving influence on groups to achieve a common goal. The leader's influence on their team is what makes a difference in the organization's success. We cannot be pursued by the results aimed, but by the cause of our action. To get our team giving its best, we need to make them understand why something must be done, show the followers through thoughts, words, and action, the purpose, the cause, and beliefs which are in the back of any step taken or to be taken. Then we go through how things will be done. Only on this point, we should jump to the operational scope. There are a lot of tools, keys, different metrics, presenter solutions, and projects for leadership development in order to prepare the leaders to impact and influence on the success of the organization. However, what really matters, even with all these resources, is how we think all these things through. Our ability to think critically over all these resources will define us as great leaders. Leaders must think critically in a holistic perspective to achieve the best outcome while facing challenging times, to make the best decisions, to choose the right path, to intellectually persevere, and to have the ability to think critically. So why, even knowing the main trait to be a good leader, do we still fail? Resources used on this study present some impediments for critical thinking, such as forming a picture of the world based on the media, the thinking of all or nothing, the idea of us versus them thinking, stereotyping, fears, and educational practices. They are some of the bricks which is built in the wall of impediments. There are some intellectual standards which critical thinkers must apply while thinking critically, such as clarity, accuracy, relevance, logicalness, breadth, precision, significance, completeness, fairness, and depth. These standards must be applied on some elements, known as researchers as elements of reasoning. When you're reasoning things through, we need to know the purpose of our thinking, to consider all the questions and points of view, to have all the information available and required, to make inferences, while keeping in mind important concepts, the implications of the decisions to be taken, and to acknowledge all the assumptions around a subject matter. Intellectual traits as humility, autonomy, integrity, courage, perseverance, empathy, confidence in reason, and fair-mindedness cannot be ignored, as they're crucial aspects of a successful leader. So, to reinforce the theoretical studies regarding to critical thinking and its importance and applicability on an organization and environment, a short survey was developed to know how leaders of different scopes evaluate critical thinking influence, how they evaluate themselves as critical thinkers, and to find out if they ever made any research about critical thinking. 48% of the public had supervisory previous or current experience, while 41% work or worked in a managerial level. Regarding to the public perception about how critical thinking influences the leader's effectiveness on an organization, 86% agree that critical thinking has a high influence on leaders' effectiveness in an organization, while 14% are neutral about it. We can notice here that absolutely none of the leaders evaluated critical thinking as a low influence. Reinforcing my hypothesis of the study in question, while rating their own ability of thinking critically, The weight average was 3.72 stars, which I do not conclude as a high level, considering the high influence critical thinking has on the organization, as they leveled previously. The most intriguing question, which I take as intriguing since the majority of the participants contact me afterwards to know my opinion and share their doubts about it, was a comparison between critical thinking versus technical and operational skills, analyzed in a 5 scales measurement from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Comparing both variables, 39% of the public agreed that critical thinking is more important than operational and technical knowledge, while 41% strongly agree that one is as important as the other. While trying to identify if previous or current leaders have ever gone through research regarding critical thinking, 48% gave a positive response, while 52% said no, which caught my attention. More than half of the leaders probably evaluated critical thinking, taking consideration the meaning of the words and not necessarily by all the variables involved in it. Looking at the survey results, as I assumed, the current leaders agree on the importance of critical thinking in an organizational scope and how it plays an important role on the leader effectiveness towards the organization. With that, I concluded that to be an organizational, powerful leader with a strong influence in the team and consequently in the organization, it is essential to lead by example, to be accurate, clear, relevant, logical, precise, significant, ample, and deep, fair and complete as a role model. It is compelling to think about the purpose of our thinking and actions, analyzing inferences, concepts, implications, and assumptions, all the information available, alternatives, and points of views, making questions to ourselves and our teams. Only this way we can achieve pivotal intellectual virtues to succeed as leaders. Thank you.